welcome to another episode of West Through West. For those of you that's joining us for the first time, just a little bit of background. West Through West is a show that actually try to medley culinary techniques and ingredients from two cultures, my Pan-African background and the Western culture where I was culinary trained. I'm excited for today's episode because it's going to take two classic dishes from West Africa as a region, and then we're going to put an Italian twist into it. So for today's episode, I am so thrilled about this. It's going to be a first timer as well. We're actually doing it right here live, so we'll learn as we go. But when you talk about West Africa, you can't talk about nothing classic other than jollof. So today's dish is going to be a Jollof-Risotto. But let me give you a history about jollof. I know the Nigerians and the Ghanaians are the big names behind it right now, but actually jollof originated from the Senegambia region, from the Wolof people, hence the name jollof because of the Wolof people. But what jollof means is it just means one pot. Basically everything cooked in one pot. Growing up in Africa, we don't have the luxury of deconstructing our meal like we do here in the Western culture. You have your proteins, your veg, your starch, your appetizer. Now, a lot of us grew up eating composed dish, and jollof is one of those. But it has since then grown, and all across West Africa, you have different versions. Sierra Leoneans are doing it, Liberians are doing it, but it actually originated from the Senegambia region. In Senegal, it's called Benachin, and then the Gambians do it, Malians do it. So when you do risotto, risotto actually is a cooking method in Italian cooking. You want to use short grain starchy rice to do that. It's called abroyo rice, and you could flavor it with anything. Risotto is one of those dishes that you could do whatever, and I think pairing it up with the jollof experience is going to be very, very classic because, like I said, jollof is one pot. Everything in one pot. There are different versions of what you may want to call jollof out there. For example, what they do in Spain called paella, that's a version of one pot because everything comes in one pot. If you go to New Orleans, what they do with jambalaya, that's a version too, everything cooked in one pot. So that's what jollof is. But with West Africa, of course, our flavors are bold, they're wild, and they're very, very authentic. So it's going to be exciting. I'm really thrilled about this dish. So let's see how it comes out. So to start, we have some key ingredients. I'm going to use mushrooms, but just your base for your jollof is what? Onions, garlic, some bouillon flavored thyme leaves. We have bay leaves. I'm going to use some scotch peppers. The green onions will come at the end. And I have some homemade spices here. A little bit of curry, a little bit of ginger, white pepper, salt. And then this is a blackened seasoning for my jollof. With jollof, you could do whatever you want. Whatever meat, whatever protein. If you want to make it vegetarian, you could do that. In Sierra Leone, as a matter of fact, when they do jollof, they do a stew on the side, a sauce that you could cook to go with it. So I'm going to use seafood. I'm going to be using, so it's going to be a Jollof-Risotto seafood combo, if you want to call it that. I'm gonna start by chopping the onions. Risotto itself is the technique, the cooking method. So basically what risotto is, it's actually simmering and stirring liquid or broth. You could use water, but I like to flavor my food. So whatever broth in Africa, like when you stew your meats, the liquid that comes out of it, that's what you want to use to cook the jollof. So I'm going to use that as the broth. You slowly stir it into the broth, let it absorb, and then the rice will build up. You'll see the technique as we progress, but that's what risotto is. Risotto is just a cooking technique. The dish is called risotto, but the technique itself is actually what's being referred to as risotto. And there's one particular rice. You cannot use no other rice to do risotto. It has to be the short grain arroyo. And the reason being that it's very starchy. So it's going to give it that texture. But that's what the texture of risotto is going to be. But you'll see as we get along. I'm going to start the jollof shortly. As soon as I get these garlic cloves and pepper going. I know I said in previous episode, somebody commented about the use of gloves. Like I said, this is for home cooking. As a professional, we do wear gloves when we work, but this is for home cooking. If you feel comfortable, as long as you keep your hands clean as you progress, that should not be a problem. That's the consistency to start your jollof, about half a cup of vegetable oil. So this is my pepper, garlic, and red onions, what I call the Trinity. That's the base for the jollof. So the ingredients for jollof is all traditional, as you could see in any West African, but the technique of doing this is going to be quite different. So you want to saute it for about a minute. Let the onions get translucent, and then now you add your rice, and that's the risotto part. It's almost like you start it like a pilaf. You're going to saute the grain in some fat. Before I add the tomato paste, like I told you, I'm gonna add this kumini mushrooms. It's a way to incorporate veggies into it. In the Gambia or Senegal, they'll use carrots or cabbage as the veg in most of it, but their version is called Benachin. This is where jollof actually gets to be different. Some countries use more tomato, like the Nigerians, so the color is different based on the amount of tomato paste you put into it. I'm gonna preserve some tomato just to make the broth, but I'm actually gonna And now to add your broth, this is some chicken flavored broth. I'm gonna get some hot water. You could use water, but you just want to flavor it. So instead of making plain old water, and then the rest of the tomato paste, I'm actually going to add to it. And now for the risotto part, you slowly are going to stir in the liquid. Slowly you're going to stir in the liquid. And that's where the risotto comes in. Slowly stirring in the liquid. And you want it to absorb and this is where the technique is different from what we're used to. I have some couple of bay leaves here. I'm gonna drop in the bouillon cube. And I'll wash my hands. So this is a constant process. You pour the liquid, you let it absorb. African cuisine is all about building and layering flavor. That's why the food is so tasty, so authentic. You don't rush it, you let it take time. So while the tomato and the bay leaves, the bouillon, I'm gonna add other seasoning to it. This is a blend of white pepper, curry, ginger, and some household spices. I'm gonna put a few, like a teaspoon or two, into our risotto. And then you stir it. So today's dish is going to be a Jollof-Risotto, what I call seafood combo. So I'm using 3 types of seafood, actually 4 to be specific. I'll be using some sea scallops, some jumbo shrimp, sushi grade tuna, and mussels. One thing about mussels, you always want to, when you're cooking them, they should be closed. So if they're open, you don't want to use them because it means it's dead and you don't know how it died before. So like this is open, I'm going to discard it. So I'm going to start by rinsing off my mussels just to clean out some sand or anything that may be there. These are some nice U10 scallops. We're going to pan-sear them. So I'm just going to heat it a little bit with some sea salt and pepper. Sea salt and pepper. And these are a nice jumbo shrimp. It's all seafood, it's okay, it's all in one dish. I'm gonna use a little bit of the blackened seasoning on it. And this is a combination of cayenne peppers, salt, mustard, dry oregano, thyme, and paprika. And then a little bit of sea salt here. the shrimp. And then for the tuna, we're gonna do a blackened tuna. So I'm gonna take some of this and just lay it like this all around the tuna. I'm gonna put the seafood in the ice box for now. One key ingredient in making a risotto is cheese. You may wonder what cheese has to do with jollof. Remember, the show is about infusing and blending techniques and cuisine and methods. So when you want to finish up your risotto, usually they'll use parmesan cheese, but because of the flavors that comes with African cooking, I'm using an aged pepper jack cheese. It's actually a jalapeno pepper jack. It's also going to add a level of heat or element of kick to the dish. So at the end of I'm going to grate it now. Then at the end of the dish, you just want to fold this into it. Growing in Africa, I remember when my grandmother would cook rice, one of the way they want to test it, she'll put it in her finger. We call it the eye. So when this little white thing is still showing, it could tell you it's not done yet. So that's just I just took a grain and it's almost there, but it's not quite. So I'm gonna add some more broth. And like I said, this is the risotto technique of cooking it. You're adding a little broth at a time, and it's going to simmer. The green onions are actually going to rice a bit at the end and use as a garnish. It brings the freshness to the completion of the dish. So I'm just going to chop it up real nice. We're actually going to start with the next portion. The dish is a Jollof-Risotto seafood combo, so we're going to start working on the seafood part. We've already seasoned them, they're sitting in the ice box. So I'm using a Dutch skillet. I want to put some flavor into the skillet. A little bit of butter. Few thyme spring and a couple of garlic cloves. So as you could see, the risotto is almost coming along well, almost about to finish. I could take a few grains of rice here. As you could see, it's almost ready. You're not seeing that white as we saw earlier. So I'm going to add the mussels into it. Wash them. So you would see as they cook, they'll open up. Oh yeah. This smells great. It's even coming out better than I thought it would. It looks like our pan here is ready for, I'm going to start off with the scallops. Give them a nice sear. While the scallops are doing its thing, I'm gonna add the shrimp in the corner. And the reason why I like to use butter is just because that cream, when it melts, it just adds a little bit of extra sweetness to the dish. So this is what you're looking for with your mussels. You see, as soon as you put it in there, it should open up by itself in the pot. It's nicely open. I want to give it a little bit more stir. Our risotto is coming along quite well. That's the perfect scallops right here. And now I'm gonna add my tuna. The reason why I'm doing the tuna last, because you want it to be nice and rare. So I'm just gonna. You cannot finish a good risotto without having wine. So this is a nice dry Italian wine. I'm gonna put it there to finish it. Works well. And then remember that pepper jack cheese that we grated. It's Parmesan cheese. But we have the pepper jack just to fold it into it. And now to finish your risotto, I'm just gonna heat it with some sprigs of the green onion, fresh green onion. And there you have it. Jollof-Risotto seafood combo. And now for my favorite part of the show, it's the plating and tasting. I'm sorry you guys don't get to experience this part, but believe you me when I say it smells amazing here. It tastes good, the flavors are there. Today's dish was a Jollof-Risotto seafood combo. We use a combination of mussels, sea scallops, shrimp, and sushi grade tuna. I'm excited. You smell the wine, you smell the cheese, you smell the liquor from the mussels. It is amazing. Feel those mussels. Some mushrooms. Decorate it with some of the shrimp here. Some scallops. And in with your tuna. This is almost well done, but you want a little bit of pink on it when you do your tuna. But I know a lot of us Africans don't like it as such. But there you have it. Today's episode is a wrap. I'm excited, first time on the show. This is a Jollof-Risotto seafood combo. Bon appetit. A little bit of mushrooms. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry this is the only part y'all can experience, but this is amazing. It is amazing. So, oh my God. To my West Africans out there, you have another way to cook jollof. I know this is out of the norm to what we do, but this is our jollof mixed in with the Italian process, the risotto. So today's dish, a Jollof-Risotto seafood combo. A little bit of shrimp, a little bit of tuna. Today's dish was Jollof-Risotto seafood combo. Please remember to subscribe to our channel. It's YouTube, West to West by Fadges. You could follow us on Instagram, West_through_West. West_through is spelled THRU_West. You could follow us on Facebook, West to West. And you could send us email with your thoughts, your comments, your contribution, westthroughwest@gmail.com. Thank you.